Revenge films.
My name is Michael. I have a girlfriend named Michelle that I've been dating for 1 year now, and I'm getting ready to propose to her. In order to make the proposal a surprise, I had made a reservation at a certain resort hotel. I did a lot of research, and apparently that resort was recently renovated. It was beautiful on the inside and the outside, and I thought that my girlfriend would really like it, so I chose this resort. I had already purchased an engagement ring for her, of course, also as a secret, and just told her that we were going to go away for the weekend. On the day of, we headed off for our vacation, and we spent the whole day touring around that town and enjoying the day until the evening came around. And then it was finally time to check into the resort, and we arrived. When we got there, I gave my name at the front desk to check in, but I was met with a strange situation. To my shock, they said that they couldn't find my reservation in their system. I immediately checked on my phone, and I was able to find the confirmation email as well as the receipt for the deposit. However, despite me showing them this confirmation, they said that they already had a guest checked into that room, and the staff that was working the reception desk also seemed confused and flustered. I had spent months preparing for this moment, and I was banking it all on this resort. So I asked the staff to please double-check again and see if there's anything that could be done. Right at that moment, the hotel manager came out from the back office, and as soon as he saw me, he could probably tell that there was something wrong. He asked me if there was anything he could help me with, so I explained to him that even though I had made a reservation for a specific room at this resort, that I was told upon trying to check in that there was already another guest staying in that room. I asked him what was going on, and I was shocked by his response. With a nonchalant look on his face, the hotel manager replied,
"We had guests come in a few hours ago who are rich and regular customers of our hotel, and so we gave them your room since we would prefer to have them stay here instead of peasants like you. Now, if you'll please show yourselves out," he said. I couldn't believe my ears. Are you kidding me? I made a proper reservation and I placed a deposit on the room. This is ridiculous. It's almost hilarious that low-level people like you think that you can stay in a place like this. The person that is staying in that room tonight is an extremely wealthy woman who has been a long-time guest of ours. As for people like you, you're much better suited to stay at a different, much cheaper, much more low-level hotel. Maybe even a motel. Now, if you understand the situation, hurry up and leave. Get out! It's not a good look for our resort to have you here," he said with a smile on his face. I couldn't believe this awful customer service from the hotel manager, and I was about to raise my voice at him when I felt my girlfriend next to me pull on my sleeve to stop me. She said to just let it go and that we should leave. To her point, it wouldn't be good for us to get into a fight in the lobby like that in front of everybody. So I decided to do as my girlfriend said and walk out of the hotel. Since I had been planning this surprise proposal for months for it to happen at this resort, I didn't know what to do anymore and was scrambling to come up with a plan B. But first, the priority was to find a place for us to stay that evening. So I tried calling a number of other nice hotels and resorts in the area, but because it was the high season for tourism in that town, they were all fully reserved, and I was met with no solutions. I really wanted to bury my head in my hands on the spot, but that was when Michelle pointed in a direction and asked, "What about that place?" I had only been searching for high-end resorts and hotels in the area, but when I looked toward the direction she was pointing, there was a very old-looking hotel ahead. It wasn't a run-down hotel by any means, but compared to the resort that I had reserved in the first place, it was a world of difference that you couldn't even compare the two.
However, we had already come this far and it would be too difficult for us to try to go home. I wasn't able to find any alternatives, so we had no choice but to take our chances there. We walked over, and when we first arrived at the front, we were met with the warmest smile and welcomed right in. From there, we were shown into the hotel to our room for the evening, and I was pleasantly surprised. Every corner of the room was spotless, and the furniture was in great taste. All of the staff that we passed by seemed lovely, and everybody was very welcoming. Once we got settled into our room, the matron of the hotel came and greeted us, personally welcoming us into her hotel. And this hospitality, unlike the hotel manager from the previous resort, was a world of difference that you couldn't even compare the two. After that, we got dressed and headed towards the onsen bathtubs. This town was a hot springs town, and it was famous for having beautiful views from their natural hot springs. But the view from the outdoor hot spring of this hotel was unbelievably remarkable. We were able to enjoy that view while relaxing, and then we headed to the restaurant. The dinner served by the hotel was amazing, and everything that we ate was so delicious. Everything was going well, but above all, the most important thing was that my girlfriend seemed to really like it.
It is a little bit disappointing that we weren't able to stay at that other beautiful resort, but there's something really nostalgic about this place. And more than anything, the atmosphere is warm and I feel so comfortable here. I'm really glad we were able to stay here, Michael.
When she said that to me, I felt like this was the moment. I got carried away by her words, and I decided to propose to her right then and there. I guess it was still a surprise because Michelle seemed shocked in the best way and happily said yes. And so, even though it was the result of a disastrous encounter at the previous resort and then a mere coincidence, I was able to spend an amazing night at this hotel with my girlfriend and succeeded in proposing to her. The next day, when we were checking out and leaving from the hotel, we thanked the matron of the hotel for the incredible hospitality that we received there. I then told her that we looked forward to visiting again next year. But then suddenly, for some reason, her face went dark. She then went on to explain to us that there was a good chance that this hotel might have to close within this year. According to what she told us, although it was an old hotel that had been around for decades and it wasn't anything new, it had been supported by their regular customers for all of these years. However, recently, a strange rumor had gone around and it had made business difficult for them, to the point where they were on the verge of having to close. Even though my fiancé and I stumbled upon this hotel by pure coincidence, it was the place that changed our relationship into an engagement. Not only was it a special place to us now, we had also received such warm hospitality there that I wanted to do something to help them. When I got home, I went online and checked, and I saw that there were in fact some bad reviews about the hotel. I thought it was strange because it was so contrary to the experience that we had. The reviews said that the staff attitude was bad, that they don't like the matron of the hotel, and that the food served in the restaurant tasted terrible. For this hotel, it was flooded by recent bad reviews only. But on the other hand, the resort that I had originally booked for the surprise proposal had the opposite. For some reason, there were only reviews that mentioned how amazing that resort was. I decided to consult my dad about it, and when I did, I found out something unexpected. As it turns out, the resort that we first went to that I had originally reserved had a lot of problems. Even though they had renovated and it had become more beautiful, apparently this stop education was so bad that people weren't going near the hotel, and that business was not doing well. As for why I was able to receive that kind of insider information is because my father was an investor. He had a lot of different connections and had insider information in different industries. On top of that, in almost perfect timing, my dad told me that he was in the middle of talks with that exact resort. They had come to him asking my father to invest in their hotel because business was struggling. Of course, I took the opportunity to tell my dad everything that happened when I tried to stay there. When he heard about the unbelievably rude experience I had, my dad was furious. And then he said that there was no merit for him to invest in a company like that, and said that he would refuse the offer. I decided to undertake that reply and deliver it myself. A couple of days later, the manager of that resort had actually traveled all the way to my town and made his way to our company in order to hear the result of his proposal for investment from my father. I headed towards the meeting room to greet him. As soon as I walked into the room and the hotel manager saw me, he turned completely pale.
What are you doing here? Why?
He said to me. So I told him that I was taking the place of my father. That was when he seemed to wrap his head around the situation.
What? Wait a minute. Don't tell me that you're from this company.
Yes, that's correct. My father owns this company. Thank you for the other day. I'm going to get straight to the point here, but in regards to the investment, we will politely decline. I am certain that you know the reason why, or shall I explain it to you? Not only can you not do something as simple as honoring a guest's reservation, it's unthinkable that you would choose your guests in that way. My father came to the conclusion that there was no value in investing in a hotel like that.
Please, wait! I simply didn't know! If I had known that you were from this company, I would have prepared the best possible room for you. If anything, I can prepare a wonderful room for you straight away, so please come back with that woman. We will also give you the utmost service.
As I just said, the fact that you would decide your level of hospitality based on your judgment of the guest is ridiculous and unacceptable. There is no value in investing in a hotel that treats their guests like that. When I said that, the hotel manager shrank in his seat. After that, I started to focus on the hotel that we actually stayed in, because I wanted them to continue their business somehow. Upon doing some research, I discovered that that resort manager was spreading false and bad rumors about that hotel to the local banking institutions, and that he was stopping financing from reaching the hotel. I immediately informed that hotel about what I found, and they quickly contacted the police. In the end, that resort manager was arrested. Next, I went back to my dad, and I told him about how wonderful that hotel was. From the hospitality to the food and everything in between, I convinced him that if they renovate the exterior just a little bit, I was certain that they would get customers back in no time. And my father agreed to invest in that hotel. When I went back to that hotel and told the hotel matron about this, she was so happy that she cried.
How can I possibly thank you for this?
I should be the one thanking you, ma'am. On that day when we came to stay here, we were kicked out of that resort, and I was devastated, especially because I was trying to propose to my girlfriend as a surprise. But my girlfriend was the one who found this place, and thanks to her being so moved by the hospitality you gave us, I was able to propose to her and get a yes. And now that I'm going to get married, my father is also very happy. When I told her that, the matron continued to thank me and congratulate me, and I could feel her sincere gratitude. For the record, not long after that resort manager was arrested, that resort struggled with business and it collapsed in no time. Well, for a resort to choose their guests like that is unthinkable, so that's only a given. Because that hotel manager would reserve nice rooms for the guests that he deemed wealthy, apparently he was really choosing his customers and discriminating against many, so of course it would collapse. Plus, even if it was that beautiful a resort, if the staff customer service is terrible, nobody would want to go back. From what I heard, apparently he was the second-generation manager, but it seems that he had zero talent for running a business. On the other hand, the hotel that Michelle and I ended up going to went through with the exterior renovation. When the renovation was finished, not only was the hotel more beautiful on the outside, but with the staff and the hotel management giving such polite hospitality, along with the delicious food being served just as I imagined, the customers came back immediately. Not long after that, Michelle and I did indeed get married, and that hotel became a regular place for our family to visit at least once a year. Over the years, our family grew bigger, and with every visit, they welcomed us with open arms.
Thank you very much for coming all this way again this year. Look how big your children have gotten.
Every year that we go, the owner of the hotel warmly greets us and is happy to see my children grow up as well.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.